The new league year began yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern. It was the culmination of 52 hours of negotiating that was permitted between teams and agents, and actually for unrepresented players, teams could talk directly to the players. But no visits are allowed during the 52 hours. You're not even allowed to set up visits during the 52 hours. So as soon as 4 o'clock Eastern hit on Wednesday, they were doing some extremely efficient
travel
plans
Yeah.
for Russell Wilson. Spontaneously, out of the blue, just after 4 o'clock Eastern, the travel plans were made for Russ to go first to Cleveland and second to the Giants. And the Browns just traded for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's going to have deja vu all over again.
Seriously, right? He's like, what the hell? I can't get away from this guy.
Bringing Justin Fields, too. Too late for that. But, yeah, I mean, that is so weird that the Browns, who were believed to be still looking for a veteran quarterback, would be the team that brings in Russell Wilson first. But they must be looking at it as there's no market for this guy, so let's take a shot.
Exactly
it's
right.
It's not like anybody's throwing $40 million a year at him now.
No.
Let's take a shot at this guy.
Yeah, you're right. You're going to be able to get him for the low. I don't know exactly what the Browns' plans are here totally. I'm trying to figure that out still. I'm still one that would say, why not trade Myles Garrett? I don't see where we're going in the next year or two. You could rebuild things. You know, that's my stance there. But, yeah, they're still trying to play it like, yeah, they think they're going to be competitive this year, obviously, that they can get involved in the conversation in the AFC North and the AFC in general. So they're going to try out Russell Wilson, see what's there. Have two guys that they go, well, I mean, yeah, if Russell Wilson doesn't play bad, maybe we'll play Kenny Pickett. I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think Russell Wilson's some like, whoa, he's way better than Kenny Pickett. I don't think the gap is that great. It's somewhat close there. But Cleveland's desperate at the at the position, and for whatever reason, they seem to be trying to show that like they're going to try to be competitive here, even though we know their team is kind of in disarray and they got issues and they don't got a ton of money to spend here because of Deshaun Watson and all that stuff. But that, yeah, kind of surprising. These are the two teams left still, the Giants and the Browns. Who the hell are they going to get at quarterback? That's the big talk in football right now. Tennessee, we know, needs a quarterback, but I think they're telling us everything right now. They're not even involved in conversations with any of these guys. So Tennessee's looks like they're going to draft Cam Ward. That's what it looks like to me. And now the Browns and the Giants are going to sit here fighting over Russell Wilson, which I can't believe that there's going to even be this type of market for him as a starting quarterback.
The game of musical chairs has narrowed to just a few teams. And again, with the Browns getting in it, it tells you that the market for Russell Wilson isn't as robust as anybody would have expected. And I kind of expected this because, look, here's the problem. I think for us, and even more clearly for the player, it's hard to forget what he used to be. It's still the same guy. He still looks the same.
Yeah.
He hasn't aged 40 years. He just can't play the way he used to. And Russell Wilson, and it's got to be impossible for him to come to terms with this. He's not the Russell Wilson of 5 years ago. He can't run away from pressure. He's got one club in the bag, and that's it right there.
That's it.
And it's beautiful when
is.
it works, but that's it. That's your Russell Wilson highlight package. Moonball left, moonball right.
That's exactly right,
Moonball
Mike.
left, moonball right. That's it.
I agree. It's a limited variety in how he can attack. And then, all right, so the play, as we know, yes, it's always been a little bit outside the numbers. We don't work the middle of the field. That was his MO even in Seattle. And we talked about that back in those days. There'd be areas where you'd go, damn, he only throws it outside. But he got away with it for so long for exactly what you said. It didn't matter. Wait, somebody opened deep? Oh, no. All right, I'll sit back here. I'm athletic. And now I'll either run or make a move or scramble and buy a little time and then throw a ball. And that was how Russell Wilson played. And because of his physical ability, he could get away with that for a long, long time. But now he's at a point in an age where you're exactly right. It's changed. He can't play that way anymore. So what do you have to do when you can't play that way anymore? You got to play a little bit more with your mind, your feel, your experience. You got to play within the pocket. You're not going to be able to run outside, make magic plays, do all of that. And Russell Wilson is still just lacking in that department. He's just not a surgical drop back quarterback that you can say, hey, we're going to drop back 42 times. Russell's going to tear you up and go 35 for 42 for 380. No. When we see Russell have big games or big numbers, it's always like kind of what you said. It's, oh, yeah, there's one-on-one outside, and he throws a beautiful deep ball and does all that. But, yeah, the days of Russell Wilson being special or anything like that are long over. And, like you're saying and like I'm saying, I don't know if there's a huge difference between him or Kenny Pickett. I don't think it's that great. I mean, that'll be a competition in training camp if he ends up there in Cleveland with Pickett there.
And if he gets out of the building previously known and maybe currently still known as the Factory of Sadness today in Cleveland, he heads to the Giants tomorrow where they have one quarterback on the roster.
Forget about it.
And they'd like to forget about him. But I don't think they really want Russell Wilson there either. They just are almost out of options. Somebody is going to be left holding a big old bag of crap when this is all said and done. Now, let's say, and we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers coming up.
Yeah.
You know it's coming.
Yep.
Let's say Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers and Russell Wilson goes to the Giants. The Browns are going to have to go with someone less than Russell Wilson as the backup to Kenny Pickett or as the starter with Kenny Pickett as the backup. But it just feels like there's a possibility it's going to go worse than that. Like the Steelers could end up SOL. The Giants could end up SOL. If Russell Wilson would sign with the Browns and Rodgers goes to the Steelers, the Giants have a problem. If Wilson would stay in Pittsburgh and Rodgers would end up in Minnesota, which is hopefully a very slim possibility, Giants are SOL. The Giants, I feel like, are in the most precarious position.
They are.
Of not having a clear, proven commodity. If we even still put Russell Wilson in that. If we're willing to say the sun has not set on the best remaining years of his time as a starter. If we suspend disbelief on that, okay, then Russell Wilson is their answer. But without Russell Wilson, it's cutlets and gabagool with Tommy DeVito, and I'm sure they'll find somebody else. But man,
yeah,
well, yeah, I'd be queasy right now if I was a Giants fan.
Yeah.
For this game to play out.
I am queasy. I am. Yes, I don't want that. I'm sorry. I don't want Russell Wilson as the quarterback of the Giants as a Giant fan. I don't. It's not going to excite our fan base. No way, no how. Again, though, I just would like to accentuate this point one more time because I do think it's interesting here because there's so much talk around this conversation, and I know we hit on this on Monday because of last weekend. But it just feels like here we are again, Raiders, Browns, Giants. Man, they're desperate to get another quarterback. It just feels like nobody wants to take the quarterback there, right? And as it feels, as I mentioned a minute ago, it feels like Tennessee's going, the hell with all these guys out here. We're taking Cam Ward at 1, and now everybody else, Giants, Browns, who need quarterbacks, whatever else, they're stuck with, wait, now here's Shedeur Sanders, maybe Jackson Dart, but we don't want to take him at 2 or 3. We don't feel like these guys are worthy of that. It certainly feels like that. I find that to be very interesting. And the Giants are in one tough spot, no question. Because you look at this and go, yeah, if they don't get Russell Wilson, right, what did they do from here? There's nobody out there on the market right now that you look at and go, well, we'll bring him in to be the starter and do that. Not really, no. I mean, Kirk Cousins, is he going to want to be traded to the New York Giants? I don't think so. The Giants, by all due accounts, and you said this too, I think really thought they were going to get Matthew Stafford or had a great chance to do it. And when that didn't happen and blew up in their face, they're sitting here now with, like you've said, the music stopped and there's no chairs. And I'm worried about it as a Giant fan right now. I really am. I'm definitely worried. I'm worried that we're going to be pressured in the number 3 pick of overdrafting a quarterback there, maybe when we didn't want to, right? Maybe didn't want to do it, but we don't have anybody, and now we're going to take one. And I don't necessarily know if that's the greatest thing for the future of the Giants organization either.
Overdrafting a quarterback in the top 10, New York Giants. Where have I heard that one before? Where's that one happen? It was just 6 years ago when they drafted Daniel Jones.
Right. Yes, right. I mean, again, I like Daniel Jones, but at the time, you know what I was saying. At 6, I don't want to take Daniel Jones at 6. He's not that. Right. So, and again, yes, I'm worried about that. And they're in a tough spot. And again, even with Cleveland, where they know they need a quarterback and could do that all for the future, the fact that they signed Kenny Pickett and they're thinking about Russell Wilson, again, I think it's just a big sign that they're telling you, we're not thinking of any of these quarterbacks at 2. Definitely not, with Cam Ward not going to be there on the board. So, yeah, some interesting things that you can kind of glean from all this stuff we're watching right now.
Although there probably was a time, and if we had full access to the archives of the New York Post and the New York Daily News, we would find articles from the late 70s that the Giants overdrafted in the top 10, some guy they never heard of from Morehead State.
Play the tape.
That worked out.
Play the tape.
And that worked out.
It worked out. That worked out. Pete Rozelle, play the tape, right, where he starts to go, quarterback, Morehead State. Phil Simms, and the whole place goes, what? Boo! And it goes crazy, right? So, yeah, that's what Big Phil came into, and, yeah, he might have been overdrafted, but he eventually proved the Giants right.
First of all, it was the 70s, not the 20s. You were doing your voice of, we're going to go down here and we're going to bring a Tommy gun.
I felt like I was doing a pretty good Pete Rozelle voice there. I thought I was pretty
on.
I
don't know about that. No, I don't know. Kind of, but maybe Pete Rozelle talked like guy from the 20s. See? We're going to go and we're going to try to talk to some dames, see? All right. Okay. So, I don't know what's going to happen with Russell Wilson. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. I don't mean to be disrespectful to a guy who won a Super Bowl, went to another one.
We can't even believe. Let's be serious. We can't believe we're even talking about he might be going somewhere to be a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
that's the basic line of this conversation. Like what? That's what's crazy. I just can't even believe this is a conversation where they might bring in Russell Wilson to be the starting quarterback, and of my team, the Giants. Damn it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.